This is the Healing Hour for December the 17th, 2019. This is your host, Tyson Bannigan, the Empath Business Strategist. I help empaths discover their divine gifts, remove obstacles, and achieve true success. Want some help? Give me a call, toll free in North America, 1-866-369-7464. This is Tyson Bannigan. This is the Healing Hour, and we're joined with the co-host, Laura Cool. And so welcome to the show here. And we're in the next hour to answer all your questions about dowsing and energy healing. You need a clearing or need some help to get out of your way and take back your personal power. We're here to help you, and thanks for showing up. Laura will be managing the comments, so feel free to type in anything there. If you want to join Laura and myself in person, just use the link that's in the comments above the show. Click the link, it will bring you on to Zoom, and we'll put you live right beside us. And then you can be broadcasting, and you can be a co-host. How about that? Or you can phone in toll free, 1-866-369-7464. That's the number. That's toll free in North America. Or if you can't remember that, it's 1-866-Dowsing. And if you're elsewhere, you can use the WhatsApps on your smartphone and phone in 250-803-2480, and it's number 1 for Canada. So there you are, all the numerous ways that you can join us. And we've got Janet here, so let's be able to say hello. Hi, Janet. Could you want to say hello?
Hi, Tyson. How are you and everybody? It's nice to be here for you.
Yeah, it's great to have you, and it's better when the technology works. So do you have any questions?
How to stop an abusive Latina woman that makes up things about me and yells in front of the yard and in front of her children.
Oh, that's a nice one.
She's ready to punch me, but another Latina saved me. But that would be a fed offense if she did touch me because I'm 65.
Right. Well, I'm about to do a clearing.
Great.
That
I'm
has,
in.
that has to do with release work. And so let's go ahead and do that right now. So let's do that. So I'm spinning my pendulum counterclockwise. So everybody on this call or listening to this call, we're going to do a release intention. So I, Tyson Bannigan, in my holy name, with assistance of Laura Cool and her holy name, and we undertake this release work for everybody listening to the call now and in the future, to release any and all beings that do not abide by the law, which is do no harm, remove all intrusions into everybody's energy field from any and all sources known or unknown. We ought to undertake this clearing with the assistance of Divine Mother, Divine Father, and Creator God of all that is. And we clear all people involved on this call throughout the multidimensional levels of reality and throughout all time, space, and dimensions, both known or unknown. And while we're at, let's clean the patriarchal bloodline, soul family, star family, and family of origin. And I declare it so in my holy name. So be it. It is done. We're just letting the pendulum. There's still quite a bit of activity going on there. But we'll let it slow down. And then we're going to just tune in on a scale of 0 to 100 and see how we were. So before we did that, because we can always go back in time, there was about a 50% intrusion into people's energy field collectively. So let's see what's happening now. Okay, so it looks like we're 100% clear. So that should help. What else can you do? Yeah, I think what you could look at is, what part of yourself are you not dealing with that may have your anger entrapped or involved in something that you wish that you had done but haven't done yet, or that you've done and weren't happy with. Does that make any sense to you, Janet?
I'm not a fighter, Tyson, but this woman thinks I was sleeping with her man and I had no intentions of doing that. And she just got hot-headed as soon as I walked into the driveway. She lets her kids run all over and play with a steel plate that they could get hurt by, and she doesn't care.
Hmm.
So she think, I mean, I can't think for a person. And I told her I can't think for anybody, but, and I'm not interested in knowing her. So I said, you don't know me.
Mm-hmm. You got any insight, Laura?
I feel like she's had problems with her husband before, and she sees him look at her in a certain way, and it pulls the jealousy forward on her. It's not about you, Janet. It's about her and how he makes her feel. And I think comments that he says about you, that, I mean, you absolutely have no responsibility for. What do you think about the Court of Atonement, Tyson?
Well, absolutely. I think the Court of Atonement. Jen, do you know about the Court of Atonement?
Yes.
Yeah, do it again. Put him and her and, you know, her and her husband and you into the Court of Atonement, right?
I don't even know her name.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. I mean, do the best you can.
Even if it's an address, the people at this address.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
Yeah, but do it. It'll really, really help. Otherwise, you end up being a victim even and trying to figure out why this is happening to you. And there may be no reason to figure out why it's happening to you. It may be just to teach you that when things like this happen and you can't understand, is to put it into a corner to put atonement and clear it, right?
Okay.
All righty. So do you have any
Thank you.
other questions out there, Laura?
I'm thinking that it'll take probably like either 3 days or 3 weeks. I don't know. Can you douse on that? And that it should be like 80 or 90% better.
Yeah, I don't think it's a one-time shot. I think it's something that you want to
Do a few months. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about a weekly process, so maybe once a week, or maybe first time in the morning, or before you go to bed, just put it into the Court of Atonement for 7 days.
Okay.
Okay? And then get back to us next week and let us know if it worked.
Excellent.
Because we always like to have the feedback.
Absolutely.
All right? What else was up there, Laura?
Tony said hello, and Janet is with us. Charette.
Oh, hi, Janet Charette. Janet, do you want to join us? You're more than welcome. All right, so I had a brilliant conversation with myself about Ho'oponopono. And of course, nobody was there to listen to it, which is probably, well, you just missed out on so much brilliance. So I'll just do it again. So I'm going to go back over the Dowsing and Energy Healing closed Facebook group. And, you know, right up there with the Court of Atonement is doing the Ho'oponopono prayer. It is exceedingly powerful, and it's so simple. And it comes from the Huna healing tradition in Hawaii. And if you don't know the story, I really encourage you to Google it. But basically, the story is like this: is a Huna healer was working in an insane asylum. It was a very intense place. It was so intense that the paint wouldn't stay on the walls. It would literally peel off. It was a very violent place, full of criminals that were insane. And when he went to work there, he never met with anybody who was in the institution. What he'd do is he'd take everybody's file into his office, and he would spend the whole time reading the file. And over a period of time, the whole place lightened up. People started coming to work because they didn't miss any more days, because it was so a terrible place to work before. People just would, phone in sick. And eventually they were able to shut the institution down because they were able to release everybody. So then the question is, well, what did he do? What he did is he took everybody's file and opened it up and did a Ho'oponopono prayer. And the basic principle behind it is there's no separation between us and everybody else. So if, for example, with Janet and her neighbor, the fact that that person is showing up in her life, her neighbor, and is harassing her is because there's something inside of her, something inside of us that needs to be dealt with that we haven't come to terms with, because there is no separation. And that means everything in the world that's showing up. And so when you do that, you're saying, I'm sorry. And this opens up the door to atonement. It says the moment you take responsible for everything positive or negative that manifests in your life, you experience or witness the negative as an opportunity for healing. Apology is not directed to the Creator. The Creator is spirit and does not need nor care about apologies. Apology is an acknowledgement that we are sorry for whatever it is that we or our ancestors before us have done to cause the adverse circumstances to take place. There's no need to grovel. Just a simple I am sorry will do. So for example, if somebody's in my face and bothering me, it would go like this. I am sorry that you need to be in my face. I forgive you that the fact that you needed to show up and to point out to me that there's something that I need to forgive inside of myself. And I forgive myself, because if I had understood this, you wouldn't need to show up and point it out to me. And I love you for this opportunity for me to clear myself. And I love myself for the ability to understand this lesson. And I thank you for this opportunity. So that's another way of interpreting the Ho'oponopono prayer. All right.
Beautiful.
So there you
Excellent.
go. That's Ho'oponopono prayer. We got any more requests? Or
Jill Horn joined us. So hello, Jill.
hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
And I said, if anyone in the group has any healing questions, please ask, and I'll make sure Tyson gets them.
And just scrolling down to the little cartoon that I posted is that the little dog is talking to the cat and says, I think someone put a curse on me. How do I get rid of it? And the answer for the cat is to nonchalantly says, stop believing in curses. And, you know, that's really true for a lot of people, that they obsess. It's sort of like the doctor who's reading about diagnosis, all of a sudden realizes that all the diagnosis he's reading, that he has all the symptoms himself. So if that's the level that the curse is, then, you know, stop thinking about it. If you do have a curse and you know that it's real and you can't get rid of it, then you need to get hold of me. And we need to do some deeper work. And the thing to think about when it comes to curses or possession or exorcism or release work is the same. It's like the Ho'oponopono prayer that I just said, is that, well, it's really, really horrible experience. It is an experience that's saying to us it's time to up level spiritually. In other words, the demon or Satan or the test does not show up until you're ready to graduate. You need to be learning how to up level spiritually. And so if this is happening to you, it means that you need to be going up level. And if you don't know how to do that, then you need to get a hold of me and I'll help you learn how to take back your personal power and stand in your truth no matter what. And once you learn how to do that, you'll be able to teach others how to do that, and you will be free. So, Laura, you have a bit of experience in that regard, right?
Mm-hmm.
In regard to, you know, before you did the deep clearing, there was a lot of craziness going on for you. Is that right?
Yes, I was being psychically attacked. I went through the deep, how do you say that? Dark night of the soul.
Dark night of the soul, yeah.
Yeah, and then I had two really big things happen in my life that I literally was like paralyzed with fear and didn't know what to do. And I was always helping other people, so this was so unusual for me. And I saw Tyson's one of his messages on Messenger from like 2 years ago, and he had said something to me, but I never replied back. But I just knew I had to reach out to him, and I did. And he said, "Why don't we have a short conference call? You call me on such and such a day." And so we got together, and he asked me what was going on. And I give readings like all the time, and I could still do my readings, and everything was real clear there. But when it came to my own personal life, I was a mess. I was horrible. I was constantly clearing my house, constantly being attacked by different spirits and entities, and I couldn't get a break. And so I started going to church. I started doing whatever I could to find some kind of solace. And you did an emergency clearing on me when I sat in my girlfriend's driveway crying. I was bawling. I just couldn't get a grip. I was so scared of nothing. Like it was completely, it didn't make sense to me. And immediately I felt stronger. And then my girlfriend and I went shopping, and she's like, "What happened to you? What's going on? Like you feel so much better to me." And she's empathic as well. And I said, "Tyson texted me and said, if you need a clearing, call me right now." And I did. And he did this thing to me, and it changed me. And then the next day you sent me the clearing protocol, and I did the whole thing. And from that point on, I got my power back, and I stopped being attacked. My house is calm and clear again. My dog used to upchuck all the time whenever there'd be demons in the house, and that's all stopped now. Everything in my life is going 100 miles an hour, like for the good now. That's all I can say. It's so different, and it's amazing. I can't say enough about the clearing protocol.
Well, thanks for that. The deep clearing protocol is really a gift in that it comes from a number of master dowsers. The bulk of it comes from Raymond Grace, which is a major, who I learned how to dowse from. And then David Cowan did some work, and we've shared back and forth before he passed on different aspects of clearing. And David wrote a whole book around that clearing from his point of view, which is a good read and important little book. And I think it's called Mind Patterning Release, is his way of describing dowsing. So what I did was gather all the different techniques and put them into one 64 series of statements to help people do a deep clearing. Somebody's got some noise in the background. So I don't know if that's Janet. Could you mute yourself? Here, I can do that.
Certainly, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I don't know if it's you or not. So
I don't know.
all right. So go ahead and mute yourself. I'll mute you. There. So Janet, you can just type into questions and answers or chat, put up your hand, and Laura will remind me, and we'll bring you back on if you have a question or have a comment. So the deep clearing protocol is really made up from a number of different dowsing master dowsers, and all put together into one document, and it's just been recently upgraded, which we do once or twice a year. But it looks like this time we did about three upgrades, right, one behind the other, over about a 3-week period. So we really encourage you to get the latest version, and it now costs $25 US to get it. It also includes a chart in order to help you do the whole overview about which ones are important for you to do quickly using the chart. And then also I've been letting people know that there is, if you want further help and a way to speed up your clearing, you can take the Take Back Your Power Now course, which is $97. It talks about things like blessing your water, the food that you eat, different techniques for grounding, So other aspects of modalities that you can add to the deep clearing to deepen the experience and to make it faster and how to clear. And in addition, but not in that document yet, is also that Laura's created a homeopathic remedy that she'll talk to you in a moment about, that you can take, which then also takes the intention down to the cellular level and helps do the clearing at the cellular level. So now you're using the sound of your voice to do the clearing from the outside in. And when you do the water blessing and the homeopathic, then you're clearing through the water and intention and the homeopathic. So that's from the cellular level from the inside out. So you get both coming together and you'll clear quicker. So Laura, you want to talk a bit about that process?
So I created a remedy that is in pill form, a little sugar pill, and you take it once a day, and you douse first to make sure if you're clear. If you're not clear, then you can take one. If you're 100% clear, then obviously you don't need to. What I'm finding with my clients that I've shared this with, it is they're clearing in like days to weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
So it speeds the whole process up from weeks into days, right?
Yep.
Right. And so if they're interested in getting hold of that, you'll then put your email into the comments so people can get hold of it with a little description of what that is. Deep clearing protocol remedy, right?
Yes.
All right, homeopathic remedy. The beauty of this is because it's homeopathic, a little bit goes a long, long way, right? So there will be instructions on how to use it right and how to circuss it and all that.
Yep.
Yep, yep, and yep. All right, so we're waiting for you to phone in. Don't forget, if you know how to use a phone, you can phone in and get your questions answered or receive a clearing. Toll free in North America, 1-866-369-7464. So in the new year, I'm about to launch a mastermind. It'll be for 6 to 8 people, and it's going to be co-facilitated. We're just working on the details now, and it will be up in the first week, our second week in January. Quite excited by this. It'll be co-facilitated. And if you are an empath or a heart-centered entrepreneur with a business and you'd like to learn how to get out of your own way, I'd like to bring the clearing work to your business and help your clients with clearings as well as increase your income, then this program is tailor-made for you. And we'll get you from where you are to where you want to be in a much shorter period of time. It's going to be a 6-month mastermind. We'll be meeting twice a month. So I'm going to be in somewhere in the neighborhood of $333. It's going to be restricted to around 6 to 8 people. There'll be an interview, a short interview that we'll go through to make sure it's the right sort of fit for you, so you'll get the maximum benefit out of it. And so if you want to make 2020 your year in your business, and you're an empath or a soul pole or a soul entrepreneur, like soul, S-O-U-L, not soul by yourself, although you are by yourself, but you're coming from your soul, then this program is for you. All right. So if you're interested, you can private message me and we'll start to get you the details out to you. But I'm very excited about this program. So any questions out there?
Yep. Janet wanted to know what elements are in my remedy. And what I do is I take the clearing protocol and I vibrationally add it into a remedy. So it's literally the vibration from the protocol goes into it. So
yeah, and if you wanted, I mean, Janet, you've been in the dodecahedron sound chamber, so if you really, really, really wanted a super clearing one, then we can do it through doing a quantum sound therapy and then taking your sound, putting it into the water and putting it also into the sugar pills at the same time through the quantum wave technology or quantum sound technology. that would be, I think we go from weeks to days to hours with the clearing, because it would be exactly intended for the client specifically.
Mhm.
So that's another level that we're working on as well.
I do put their name into the homeopathic remedy.
Yeah.
And she said, thank you. I used homeopathic remedies in France. And Janet, did you like those? I think you can unmute her probably. Maybe we could do it that way.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We will unmute her. I thought it was another Janet. Lots of Janets. Okay. Unmute. Yeah. Here you are. You're unmuted.
Yes, I like homeopathics much better than big pharma in America. I'm sensitive, but I lost my sensitivity the past 6 years, and I need to be real again and be human again and contribute to myself and the planet. It's I need help in whatever way I can get it. I'm willing to. I don't know if you're willing to do payment plans, but
Yeah,
I'm
we are.
tired of existing.
Yeah, we are totally. Look, you're the ideal client. Most of the clients I'm working with, I would say, have been at the top of their game. They're either like they're authors, or they have had extensive coaching practices, or were really good at what they were doing, or could literally manifest anything and everything they wanted overnight. And then for some whatever reason, maybe because not having really clear boundaries, or intrusion in their energy field from other sources, or could be hexes, curses, or somebody being jealous or whatever, they get overwhelmed, and then their energy starts to be depleted. They don't know how to revitalize themselves, and they lose what I would call their superpowers. So my job and my passion is to help people come back online like yourself, because when you're doing what you're here to do, you're going to help clean up the planet, and we're going to have a much more benevolent planet to live on. So if you're out there listening to this call and you're an empath, and you know that it's time to get cleaned up and get back online to do what you're here and deliver your unique gifts to the world, then you need to get hold of us. And yes, we do. I know, because I'm expensive. I charge $997 for 4 sessions, or $250 a month. And I just set a rate for poor Laura, without talking to her, that's 50% of that to work with Laura. And you can do it in 15-minute sections, half-hour sections, or hourly, or you can do a month. And if you do a monthly, we'll come up with a rate in which you'll get a break. So we do it so it will match your income and a payment plan, so that you can just anybody and everybody can get to work. And then along that same lines, in the new year, I'm looking at the ideal prosperity abundance book, and we're going to be doing that as a book club. So anybody who's having trouble in manifesting or prosperity, and I have some people looking at what that book will look like for the book club. So I'm excited to announce that we'll be doing that as well. And that'll be pretty inexpensive. It'll be somewhere around anywhere from $30 to $50 a month, so everybody can afford it. It'll be 1 hour a week, and we'll meet and we'll go through the exercises to release everybody around any money barriers that they may have. So that's
Perfect.
so those are the intentions for the new year. The mastermind for empathic business people, and also the clearing to clear people that need to get back online. So think of it this way: we're going to help people take back their personal power, learn how to clear themselves and ground, and then when they're ready to take back their superpowers and do their business, then they're going to go into the mastermind, and we're going to bring their business back up and help them go forward from there. So these are integrated steps that we're going to be great. So you can come into the program and go through those steps at your own pace, and move you through as you sort of climb the ladder, right, from where you are to where you want to be.
Great. So Glow has a question. She said that she has money and energy blocks, and I said, what specific energy? And she said she's always exhausted and overwhelmed, and she has no energy. And I said clearing protocol, and then she said I had a breakdown, divorce in 2015. So maybe do Janet again because I keep getting feedback.
All right, so Janet, I think you're still unmuted.
Oh.
Did you have something brilliant to say, Janet?
I'm sending a text because I thought you muted me again. I'm sorry. I just have the text thing up open.
Oh,
Oh.
you were texting. Oh, okay.
All right. So yeah, so when it comes to so parallel to this work and a deep clearing protocol, we talked about it briefly, which is I really encourage you that if it has to do with interpersonal relationships, especially with your family or your loved ones, then I really encourage you to do a court of atonement. It's and I encourage you to do the deep clearing and a court of atonement at the same time. Sort of one is helping you learn how to raise your energy level, and the other is helping the angelic kingdom to assist you to clear things that you don't know how to clear yourself. So it's sort of like a two-pronged approach that I really encourage people to do at the same time. And, you know, like I said, if you need some help, you can hire us as a coach to speed it up. Or you can also take the, you know, the Evergreen course, which is Take Back Your Personal Power for $97. And there's a payment plan there as well, and which will give you a whole bunch of information. And it's like a little video course that you can take that will take you through as well. So
You know,
Laura,
I highly encourage people too to do the first thing in the morning routine. I did that this morning where you breathe and
all right. So how to start your morning?
that's beautiful.
Yeah, there's 3 things you can do to start your morning, and it's there. We're going to be setting this up. So I'm thinking of Coach's Corner or a program like that where we'll literally have stepping stones. So we'll just start like how to start your morning, the 3 things that you would do. You know, then the next thing would be, you know, how to clear yourself. And then, so these would be all stepping stones that you can do. And once you learn each one of those, that you can go back to them and keep using them, or you can graduate yourself as you move up the steps towards taking back your personal power. And then from then we'll be taking you into your business and helping you promote your business. So if you're a business or entrepreneur, and if you are also a coach that works in the energy field, we can then teach you how to use dowsing to further your business, how to make decisions that are accurate and quick, precise, to help you as an adjunct to whatever healing modalities you have. So being able to be a dowser is really, really an effective way to add to any of the other modalities. Or if you wanted to become an energy healer, we have an online course to do that as well. Or if you want to learn how to do release work, then we have a course for that as well. And then another course, if you want to learn how to do dowsing with regard to gardening and farming, we have a whole other set of courses in that area as well. We have another course on color therapy if you want to learn that as an adjunct to healing work as well. So there's all sorts of different ways that we can help you add to your repertoire of your healing modalities. All right, any other questions on there?
Yeah. Jill asked, what is this Court of Atonement? And we want to say a shout out to Annette and to Elizabeth. All
right. So the Court of Atonement, just Google it. And you can private message me and I'll give you the link. I've done 5 interviews with Amy Jo Ellis, which are well worth. That's a nice way to, you know, get an overview. Laura, did you get a chance to listen to those? I don't know whether you ever did.
I have. In fact, there's a on Facebook, there's a Court of Atonement Facebook page that she has.
Yeah.
And she has a video that's amazing. It's like almost 2 hours, I think, where she explains everything, and it's how to tell.
So Google, so just in Facebook, put in Court of Atonement, get hold of her 2 little books. And that gives you everything you need. She has really good classes. They're inexpensive. They average somewhere around, I think, $30 to $50 to take one of her courses.
Mm-hmm.
She gives a lot of instruction. And I really encourage you to add to that to your repertoire. It really helps clean up all things that have to do with relationship, whether it has to do business relationships, whether it has to do family relationship, family, your family of origin, soul family, star family. And it's pretty straightforward, and it's miraculous the results you get. So I encourage you to do that.
I just started doing it myself, and I haven't seen anything yet, and I doused for it, and it's like weeks. It's taking weeks to like clear all this stuff out. So I'm looking forward. I'll let you guys know how it works for me as we go on during the weeks here. I'll share it with you, but I have a strong feeling that it's working.
Yeah, I sort of describe it, and I never said this to Amy, but it's sort of like I like to work with Divine Mother. And sort of the image I have, of the grandmothers that used to have the wood stove, right? And they always used to have a pot on the back of the wood stove that had vegetables and broth in it, and they just keep adding to it. And it was always at the back where it was sort of like in a slow simmer, and they were always making what we might call a stew or a soup going on. So I've always seen the Court of Atonement as the back burner for Divine Mother, where you just keep adding carrots and things to the what's going on, and it keeps cooking in the background, right?
That's beautiful. So it's like they were making vegetable broth the whole time.
Exactly, right? And so, what would be better when you were sick than your grandma's vegetable broth, right?
Well, and you're using all of those wonderful leftovers.
Exactly.
That's such a great idea instead of mulching.
Right. So, yeah. And so that's, if you're a meat eater, that you're putting bone marrow in there, right? But there's also vegetarian recipes to do the equivalent of that, where you have a vegetarian broth, which then you use as your fundamental start for your soup. And it just is full of all those vitamins, right? And
Yeah. That's
so that's divine. So for me, the Court of Atonement is going to Grandma, to the Divine Mother, and asking her you can have a little bit of that broth on the back burner. And so I keep adding to that back burner. There's also, if you're having trouble with your house, I was just working with another client, and I set up grids in houses, and we create a 0 point in the top of the roof, or the top of the room, or the center of the house, and then we create a violet flame that comes down from the center of the house. And this is Saint Germain's violet flame. The last client we did, she said, well, I don't want it in the center of the house. I want it right over my desk. So we got permission to move the violet flame over her desk. And now she's sitting in the cleansing area energy of the violet flame. And not only is the violet flame good for clearing things, but it also has to do with anti-aging. So there you are, sitting at your desk, having anti-aging happening at the same time as clearing. And I like to think of the violet flame as a cold, hot flame, if that makes any sense. It's a burning flame, but you can put your hand in it and it restores you. But it also is a flame that transmutes. So if I have a thought, or if I have a feeling that I think should be just transmuted, it's sort of like I just throw it into the flame. It's sort of like putting wood into the wood fire. Oh, just throw it in.
So this is that where we take the organites and put them every corner of the house. You want to explain that to people?
Yeah, so I help you set up a grid. It's a pyramid in your house, and then we make it into a vortex, like a funnel, that then goes up to the center of the house, which goes to a 0 point and transmutes everything into the light. And you can also then put it on your property. So now you have a pyramid within the pyramid. And if you have more than 2 houses on the property, you can have pyramids. You can have more than one pyramid, like the pyramid of keys. You can have multiple pyramids that all are interconnected. And it works. The first time I asked for assistance to do this, and I set it up in a 100-year-old haunted house where literally the ghosts were spitting on people, and that cleared the whole 100-year-old house. So I thought, whoa, that works. So I've been doing it ever since. So you can do it with crystals. You don't have to use organite. The last client, I just had her use her own crystals that she had in the house, and we programmed them to do the work. So it doesn't have to be complicated, but it does work. So for her house clearings as well. And also in the academy is a little mini course. I think it's all of $33 for different ways to clear a house, right? So that's well worth looking at as well. So if you have a house that needs to be cleared, please do so. And if you have a daughter or a son, or you know, or anybody, a relative that needs to have a house cleared, then go ahead and do that as well. All right, any other questions out there?
Not so far.
Wow, it's really, really quiet.
It is. It's that time of year. We're heading into the Christmas season.
Yeah, well, that's the time where lots of people get stressed out. And, you know, if you have been working on clearing your energy field and dealing with your own trauma in your life, then the ultimate test is to go home for Christmas. That's your test, right?
So true.
And I want you really to set the goal. I want you to time how many minutes it takes you. How many minutes can you be a sovereign human being when you arrive home before you start reacting to the pigeonhole everybody wants to put you in?
Yeah.
And then if that happens to you, then you get pigeonholed back into the way you were, well, you know, because you're never going to change. From their point of view, I want you to excuse yourself, excuse me, go to the bathroom and do a clearing. Then come back out and then see if you can last 5 minutes longer than the last time.
Jill says, ha, 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 ha.
No, but it's worked. It's important. I'm teasing you, but it's your greatest test. Where else can you be tested that quickly? And where else can you figure this out? I mean, I used to do that with my mom, you know. I would go to see visit my mom and I would see how long I could last. You know, in the beginning, I couldn't last 2 minutes before, you know, I was just like a puppet on the end of the string. I was just like all over.
I played solitaire for 2 years. Every time I go to my parents' house, I wouldn't interact with anyone because I was like, I can't do it. Just relax, just don't do it.
Right. Well, that's cheating. I'm not,
No,
no, I know, that's not
do it though.
that's actually not bad. You know, if you can't do it and say anything, then shut up. But yeah, that's a really good strategy. But this is your opportunity over Christmas to clear this stuff up, right? And remember, the dominant energy always wins, right? So why not be the dominant energy for good? Because dominant energy, good, bad, or ugly, makes no difference. Energy is energy. There's no value judgment in it. So if you're really clear about who you are, not an look at me type thing, but you know, you're just really clear about being clear, then you'll set that new energy. And people say, I don't know what's gotten into you. You're just different. Did you cut your hair? Did you color your hair? What did you do? You know, they can't get it. They think it's something physical that you did it. And really it's your energy field that is adjusted, and everybody will calm down and you'll have a Christmas like you never had before. And so it's really worth, you know, I'm teasing you, but there's a lot in it that you could really have a lot of value with.
As I had no idea how much of it I was actually creating until I stopped doing it. And then once I figured out that I was the one that was creating all of this chaos, that was like a huge slap in the face, Tyson. Because I always thought it was everyone else.
Well, it is everybody else.
But it was really just me.
Yeah, right.
Now it's much calmer and it's much happier and it's much better. But there was a time, and it's, you know, it's one of those times you're like, well, my energy is like too much for most people. So I just had to keep calming down.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, if you're an empath and you grew up in a family that didn't have a clue what an empath was, then they would say things to you like, hey, don't be so sensitive, or, you know, you're really, really too emotional, or why don't you just settle down, or comments like that. I just wrote an article on how to survive as an empath, and I think there's 30 different ways in which I've given you clues to figure out whether you're an empath, but those are some of them. And what we do as an empath is we shut down. We either shut down like Laura does and go to our room, if we have a room, we're still living with our parents, and lock the door, and we don't interact. I mean, I didn't do that for years. Like, I didn't want to be involved because there was too much chaos going on there, especially my parents arguing. And for some reason, as a kid, I felt I was responsible. That not only was I responsible for how I felt, but I was responsible for how they felt, and that I needed to somehow fix it. And as a kid, I didn't know how to fix it. Nobody gave me any crazy clue for relationships with adults, so I didn't know how to solve it. And so this is sounding like you when you were a kid. Then this is why you're empathic and why you're hypersensitive to things going amok in your life. Like, in other words, whenever there's somebody arguing or somebody is upset, then you're like this. Your hackles go up, your early warning system go, the bells start ringing, and you want to pull back. And you really don't want to be around other people, like shopping centers and places like that, because you're overloaded with all this energy. So if this is sounding like you, then the deep clearing protocol and working with this is what you want to do, and preferably before you go home or go Christmas shopping. But you can do it afterwards too, once you realize, hey, that didn't work very well. So I know for even now, when I go to Costco or places like that, it's sort of like a bit of a mission. I've got my target, I've got my list, and I'm in the door and I'm down the aisle and do this, and I'm out of there. And I go, done, because I can't handle the energy. It's just too much going on there, too much energy. But anyway.
So the deep clearing protocol will help calm all of that down.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It will create a safe zone. And I also have David Adelson created a program that I just gave a recent client, and I haven't even talked to you, Laura, about it. So it creates a 8-foot boundary around you. You put it on your cell phone, and it creates a sphere around you, and it's silent. So you can take it with you, or take it to work. You can take it on the bus, because some people say, Tyson, I finally figured out that my house is a sanctuary and I'm okay here, but I really don't want to go out. And so this is a way that you can do it. Another way that you can do it is when we set up the orgonite field for your house, we can give you a little bit of orgonite, or we can program a crystal to your clearing field that's in your house. So when you have that crystal in your pocket or in your purse, that will provide that field wherever you go as well. So there's different techniques to help you. And of course, these are all interim techniques until you can build up your energy field and do it on your own. But, we don't want you to be overwhelmed in the process.
So Hillary says, my mother and I could never seem to get along. Hopefully things get better. And she's on the day 25 of the clearing protocol, and she's loving it. So maybe we could give her some tips to maybe help with getting along with mom during the holidays.
Yeah, getting along with mom is really, it's a beautiful thing. I would do a court of atonement with mom, put it in the court of atonement. I would put the whole Christmas dinner. If you could imagine sitting down at the Christmas dinner, I'd even, hey, I'm a vegetarian, so I'd even put the turkey in there too as well, right? Like, I have compassion for the turkey, gave up his life for Christmas too. So I put the turkey in there as well, but that's just me. So I put the whole table in my imagination into the court of atonement, along with everybody that is going to be sitting around that, so that you can come use this opportunity of bringing the family together in a new way. I mean, what a Christmas present that will be, right?
That's beautiful. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What could be better than a peaceful Christmas, right? People getting to love each other.
I agree. And that's what the reason for the season is anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That was the whole intention, not to argue with each other.
It was.
And, if you really want to do deep work, we can do what's called removing toxic emotion. And I was trained in this, I'm a certified coach in that area. And that has to do with the fact that in our childhood, usually between the 0 and 8, we've had some trauma that we may have picked up from our parents, usually from our parents, or we were angry with God, or somebody in authority may have said something to us that we misinterpreted, or we decided to put up our hand and incarnate into this family, and we had our family play certain roles for us to learn certain soul lessons. And my job is to help you discover what those soul lessons are, so that you can take on the power of learning those lessons, so your mother or your father, even if they're alive or not alive, doesn't have to show up anymore with that lesson. Why? Because you've learned it. So we're going back to the Ho'oponopono. Nothing shows up in your life without there being a vibrational match for something you haven't accomplished inside of yourself, that person's in your face because there's something that you need to learn inside of yourself. So that's the same with your parents. So if you're still being pushed, your buttons are being pushed by your parents, then I can help you figure out what are those buttons that are being pushed, and how can we get those buttons dealt with inside of you, so there's no more, so you're a button pushing free person. Okay. And that's a really, it takes about an hour and a half to do that. And it can result in tears as you let go of all this stuff, right? But it really can make dramatic effects. I know many clients, it's changed their life completely.
And while
Especially if there's
you were
been any abuse in the family.
while you were saying that, she said she's done the Court of Atonement with her in it, and it's gotten better, but she still baits her into fighting, and the mom gets frustrated when she doesn't bite. And she said, I feel at peace finally with my family. And then I said, button free work with Ty. So hopefully she'll find some peace with working with you, because I agree. I think there must be some more deep healing that needs to go on with her and her family, and that you can get down to that.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about this is that, when all is said and done, most of our family members should really get the Academy Award for the role that they chose, especially if they were sons of bitches, in the sense that they stuck to their role because they made an agreement on the soul level that they're going to do that for you to discover some part of your soul that you need to work on in this incarnation. And because they love you so dearly and they made that agreement on the other side, they can't let up. They made that agreement to be in your face. And until you learn the lesson and can take that personal power, so there's no need for them to be in your face anymore. They're committed. They signed up for that assignment. So that great Christmas present is to learn that and free them and thank them, whether they're alive or not. And the last prayer goes something like this, Mom, I love you and thank you for showing up in my life, and truly love you for who you are. And now that I've learned that when you did X, Y, and Z, I was for me to learn P, X, and Q. And now that I've learned it, I truly love you and can let you go. Okay. Now they can get on with their soul life, and you can get on with yours and have a new relationship if they're still alive. So that's the power in this work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody else out there?
Well, Janet said, I used to have 2 in my apartment. She's talking about the grids.
Yeah.
With grids made of copper, all pyramids on floor and crystals, then various shapes with crystals, copper, gold, silver wrapped gems. Unfortunately, they're in New York City. I slept over selenite and in a copper pyramid.
Wow. She should be levitating by now.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, that sounds good.
Yeah, really. We're going to come over to your place. We're moving in.
It's in New York, though.
That's okay. We'll all move to New York. I mean, God knows when I went to New York and stayed in an apartment with 10 locks on the door, I sort of got, hey, we're in a different reality here, right?
Right. Especially where you're from. Do you even lock your door? Right?
No.
Then Jill said, a big thank you for everyone, and lots of hearts. So she thanks you for all of your.
Oh, they're most welcome. I mean, this is my pleasure for me, what could be better than everybody having a more joyful Christmas, because that's what it's all about.
Sure.
Having family time where you can share really intimate opportunities and get to know each other, right? And grandchildren and nieces and nephews, and yeah, it's an important time.
What about people who don't have any family and don't have anyone to celebrate with? You think?
Well, I mean, that's gonna be me. I mean, we have people to celebrate. For me, Christmas is a time for just quiet. There's no clients, there's no phone calls. There may be snow outside, time for maybe a walk, maybe go to a gym. Nobody's gonna be at the gym. So for me, it's solitude. It's a time to re-nourish. And there's no, oh, poor me, I don't have Christmas dinner. But I just love that opportunity to just be still and be quiet, especially in the snow where I live. There's just very little activity, very little traffic on the road and everything. So it depends. I think the important thing for me is to learn to begin to live with a life with no regrets. What do I mean by that? No regrets about anything that could have been or should have been, or why didn't I do this better in the past? Like if I only would have loved my mom more, or if I hadn't said this to Gert, or if I'd done this or hadn't done this to Sam. No more of that, right? Or, and no more fear of the future. Oh, I wonder, am I going to have enough clients, and can I pay my bills? And, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. No more of that. So when I say solitude, I'm talking about the more I can be in the now moment, right? As still as possible. Not that I've withdrawn. I'm very, very alive, so to speak, in the now. It's not like, I'm not in a cocoon, rolled up on the floor in a fetus. I'm talking about being fully open and alive, but in that solitude, right?
Yeah.
Of enjoying all that's around me. So yeah, for those, there's lots of places to go. Many communities have community dinners. And, one of the things to do is, if you're in a community that, serves up Christmas dinner, is go volunteer to serve dinner to all the people that are going to come to have a free turkey dinner. I mean, that's an amazing thing to do. And it's the attitude of gratitude. When you serve that way with no expectation of any benefit for yourself, I guarantee you, especially if you have a blocked money flow, you go out and service like that, your money's going to flow, guaranteed. Go do service. Go help somebody who doesn't have solitude, who's in pain over Christmas. Help serve Christmas dinner to the poor through your local church or through your Salvation Army or wherever. Every community usually has some situation for those that can't afford a Christmas dinner. Or go make up baskets, Christmas baskets with a group that you take to everybody's door. So
Yeah,
some service helps.
My sister and I shop for in her community, they have kids who don't have anything.
Yeah.
And the young kid just wanted chocolate and shirts. It's all he asked for Christmas. And so we had so much fun shopping for him, and we don't exchange gifts anymore in my family at all. So we like to give to others who aren't as fortunate as us.
Right.
So
well,
yeah.
when we get together, we have sort of an ALF exchange program where you draw somebody's name and they're not supposed to know who it is, but we always figure out behind the scene who's got who, and then you buy them a present that has to be under $40. And when I was running a youth hostel and it was a community of about 30 people, everybody made homemade gifts. Oh, and that was a lot of fun. And Christmas morning would start in a geodesic dome, and everybody would open a gift, one gift at a time. So it took all day to do that. So we'd have a break for lunch. We'd still be opening gifts in the afternoon. So everybody got to see what everybody else made for each other. It was lots of fun.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice. We got just to the point where you were getting stuff and we were like, why are we even doing this anymore?
Yeah, between Sarah and I, we don't exchange gifts. Right?
And isn't it so much less stress? Like when you say it's so stressful, I'm like, not in my family, it's super like no stress.
Right.
We gather for a meal and we have a good time and we go home and It's very short and sweet, and it's nice.
Yeah. Well, I think we have about 2 minutes to go because we started late. And so we're ready for one more phone call, even though nobody's phoning in, or one more request from somebody. Is there another request out there?
Janet just said that she's going to be alone for Christmas, and that her sister and her won't be spending it together, and her mother and her mom has passed. So I'm going to send you some love, Janet.
Yeah, and do a video call with your sister.
Say that again.
Do a video. She should do a video call with her sister. She said her sister and her won't be getting together.
Her sister took her out of her inheritance.
Oh,
Well, I don't know if doesn't seem like there might be some good blood.
well, then just put her in the court of atonement.
She said she won't talk to me. Yeah, you need to put her in the court of atonement too, Janet.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I had a whole list of people I put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't leave anybody else. So I'm going to unmute Janet. Janet, you got any other requests or concerns? Those are great things that you're working on. So I love your comments here. She won't talk to me. I won't read the rest of it out.
Yeah. It's all good.
It's all good.
It's
So
all
thank you.
good. I had an attorney friend call her because she has a painting that I did a seascape when I was 12 years old in oil. And he asked her if she had it. And she's like, I think that it sold with the condo. He's like, Janet, she's lying. I said, so what do I do? Do I get the police with me to go to her house? Because I really want the painting and it's the only thing I have left. I have no photographs. I lost everything. And I had to fight to see my mother at a nursing home and teach them the last right a person in the United States of America has is to be able to see who they want. And she tried blocking me. And I taught that to 3 nursing homes.
Well, all I can say then that she's the biggest Ho'oponopono experiment that you could ever have. So you're very, very fortunate. You created the dragon at the gate. It's so huge and overwhelming that when you learn how to deal with this dragon, you're done. You're going to be a grand master of taming dragons. So go for it.
Thank you. And Laura, I'd like to set an appointment with you to talk about how to do whatever with your remedy.
Oh,
or maybe
sure.
more.
Sure.
But
All right.
thank you. I need an overhaul. And
Yeah, it's
thank
time
you.
to upgrade you.
Well, I used to be fabulous. I was a medical massage therapist. I was fortunate to study coaching with Thomas Leonard when he was alive. I don't know if you know him, but he's the grandfather of it all. And he's a master. He has things on Coachville that are for free if you want to learn more about coaching and different modalities. Unfortunately, he died early on a treadmill, but
No.
he's got a great legacy.
Well, you know, and you're the part of the legacy, so let's get you back online so that you can share that legacy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so we're going to call this a wrap. Thanks for showing up. So Laura, are we meeting next week? Where are we? How close are we to?
Yeah, because it'll be, or wait, or is that on Thursday?
That's
yeah, that's the
Christmas.
day before. So why
Christmas
not?
Eve.
Christmas
I
Eve.
need it.
Yeah, I'm going to show up. If anybody wants to show up and receive a clearing just before for Christmas Eve, why not? That'll be our
Thank you.
present for you. We'll show up for one more session next Tuesday, same time, same place. Have the best week ever and get ready for Christmas. And if you have any concerns about Christmas and meeting your family, please put everybody in the court of atonement. Do a deep clearing, put everybody in the deep clearing, and make this your best Christmas ever. Why not? So until next week, be healthy, wealthy, and wise. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.